We live yet?
It's the Big Trav and Q Show. They waiting for just another damn podcast.
That's right.
Let's go.
That's right. That's right. But you know what? We're starting not to be just another damn podcast, man. You know, everybody keep telling me about. Yeah, actually, we're live. We're live right now. Everybody keep telling me how professional we look, and we got some interesting topics, man. And man, what you think, man? What you getting on your end? What I'm getting on my end is the Big Trav and Q Show is a breath of fresh air.
Is it popping, man? Everybody say it's popping.
They tuned in, man.
That's what I'm talking about,
Monday through Friday from 6 to 8 p.m.
That's what I'm talking about.
Now all we got to do is get them over there to our YouTube page and get them to subscribe. Let them show us some love, and we can get it going.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Man, I just lost my train of thought. Okay, anyway, yeah, like he said, I like to welcome everyone to the Big Trav and Q Show. We're in our second week. We're doing pretty good. I'm getting more comfortable with this. I'm having more fun with this. It's more fun every time. You know, I get more when 6 o'clock is rolling around. You know, I'm getting anxious. You know, but you know the cool part about this too is being ready. I never forget what my man Ron Scarlett said. Ron Scarlett is out of Atlanta, and he's been doing a podcast for 4 years. And his advice to me was just always be ready. He said never assume anything. He said always be prepared. He said always know your facts. Know your facts. He said because he said that's embarrassing to get called out, you know, on live air, you know, when you don't have the truth, or you inaccurately portrayed something. So you know what? I spend a lot of time crossing T's and dotting I's. I spend a lot of time doing that. So, how about you? What you say?
Man, I could echo them sentiments 1,000%. I agree with everything that he said and plus more. But, you know, I want to make a disclaimer, though.
Okay,
Trav. I want to say this.
Okay.
You know, with two guys who organically started just having back and forth banter, and look at where it started culminating from here. You know what I'm saying? We've never professed to be like scholars of what our topics are. It's just our personal opinions.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
So, you know, I'm gonna just relax a little bit, let my hair down, and just say, hey, if we make mistakes, we own it up, and we'll go back and correct it. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's all.
That's how I see it.
That's all anyone can ask of us. You know what, man? I didn't get a chance to dive into Ozark. I didn't get a chance to dive in last night. You know what had my attention last night was Black Lightning. Black Lightning, man. I'm stuck on the second season of Black Lightning, man, and God, I got to finish.
Are you a fan now?
You know what?
You coming over to the light?
Well, remember I told you I didn't like it at first. Because I take my superheroes, you know, I take them serious. I take my comics serious. You know, I don't know. My wife took interest in it, you know, and that just changed everything. I said, wait a minute, you know. I said, you know, she said she liked it. And I was like, you know what? Let me give it another chance.
But they say, happy wife, happy life.
Well, you know, so I'm on the second season, and I'm looking forward to finishing it up. I'll tell you what, I'll put that on pause, and if I can, and then I'm going to check out Ozark. Did you get a chance to watch The Boys?
Yes, I'm on episode 4, so don't say anything.
Well, let me ask you. So what do you think so far? Because you know what? I was up for it. You know what? I was cool until the point where
Are you going to tell me the story?
No, I'm not going to tell you the story, but you know, the guy that's supposed to be Superman. I was cool up until he killed somebody for no reason. I was cool until he killed somebody, you know, for self, you know, I couldn't get with that. You know, I couldn't get with that because Superman is a good guy, man. He's a good guy. I hate when they, you know, like Bizarro Superman. I hate when they do this alternate world bullshit
and make somebody I like, be bad or some shit. Like, I guess I didn't have a big problem with Bizarro Superman, but they killed me with this alternate universe stuff. But that was the way. Well, with us being big Marvel fans, the alternate universe was the way that they were able to snap everybody back. So I guess, and I wanted the people that got snapped away. They were some of my favorites, and they got snapped back. So thank God for the alternate universe for that. So.
Oh gosh.
But the boys, we'll finish it up. It started out well. I just wanted to see where it was going. When the Superman character turned out to be a bad guy, it soured me. I finished it all, but I was cool on it after that. Did you see that movie?
I guess nowhere in the equation where I said I finished. I haven't finished it, but you just wanted to finish it for me.
No, I didn't. But did you see Brightburn? Because Brightburn was sort of the same thing. Did you see the movie Brightburn?
No, I did not.
Okay, when you get a chance, if you like the boys, if you like Superman going bad, you need to check out Brightburn. And I'll give you a little synopsis on Brightburn. Brightburn said this. Brightburn said, what if Superman crashed to the earth, got with a family, and he turned out to be bad instead of good? That's what Brightburn is. Brightburn is the theory, or it's a what if. It's a what if. What if Superman turned out to be bad instead of good? And so it's this little kid growing up as a bad Superman. He had a different family from the Kansas family. He had like a trailer park type family, that they weren't good parents, and so it made him a bad person. And so he grew up, being, using his powers. You know how when he was a kid and he was like, in the real Superman, when he was a kid, he was like, I don't play football because I know I could score 100 touchdowns, So, and so in this movie, it's the opposite of that. He got the powers. He know people scared of him, and he's just torturing. It's a horror movie, is what it is. And I didn't like it, man. It was horrible. It was horrible. I turned it off. It was almost over, and I just turned it off because I just couldn't believe. And then they left the door open for a second one. So I'm like, man, come on, dog. I don't want to see another one of these. So, but anyway.
Well, what I watched yesterday and this morning was the state of emergency on Revolt with Puff Daddy.
Joe Button.
His panel.
Joe Button was on there?
No, Joe Button wasn't on there.
I thought Joe Button hosted the State of the Culture podcast.
No, he did not. Did you watch it?
No, I didn't. I didn't watch it.
Right. So that means there's two of us on the phone, right?
Right.
One of us watched it. One of us did.
Right.
There we go. I just wanted to get some clarification on that.
Well, tell us about it. Tell us about it.
Man, it was very interesting. Learned a lot about it. And I took some information off of it.
What was the purpose of it? Give us I posted the promotion video where Puff Daddy was talking about it. That's on our page, but I didn't listen to actually what he said. So tell everybody why they were.
You did two of the three. You did two of the three. You were aware. You posted it, but you didn't.
I didn't prep for it. Okay. So go ahead.
But you told us, you spent a few minutes telling us about a bad Superman. All right. Okay. Well, here we go. Okay. Here we go. Well, it comprised of a good panel of people like, Killer Mike, Angela Rye, Royce the 5'9" was on there, which was great because him and Big Sean, they were on there and they was talking about Detroit. And one of the things that they were sticking out about that was they said that over 700 workers, nurses, doctors, people that are working in the field have now tested positive for the virus. And, they gave us a whole bunch of stats of what was going on and everything like that. And what was also good about it was they gave you some good information about this Paycheck protection program, which I think is a really good thing that people get a chance to check it out and go on their page, go on the page and check out what it basically does. It's like it helps anybody that are in small business loans or any entrepreneurs, anybody who's in the field right now who's being impacted. So there's a criteria so you should check out the Paycheck Protection Plan and see how it may benefit for you. Puff Daddy also has a plan that it's called Our Fair Share Program. And that's another program that's good that he's going to be doing. One of the things that they wanted to point out about small business loans is that it's a first come and first served basis.
Is old girl calling from a California number? Because I got a number coming in. Is she calling or are you calling her?
No,
Miss Korona.
Let her go.
Okay.
Well, let's go.
Is that her?
Go.
Okay.
Right now, who's being impacted.
Big Trav and Q Show.
Paycheck Protection Plan.
Check. Big Trav and Q Show.
What's up with you, man? This is West Coast.
What's up, West Coast? What's going on with you?
Oh, man, some more of it, man. Just enjoying the day. Man, you always send me the link. I saw the phone number on there, so I thought I'd give you guys a call, see what you guys chopping it up with.
That's what I'm talking about. Shout out to my man, West Coast, Tyson West Coast. For you guys that don't know, and Q is my host. Q, this is Tyson West Coast. He's like the Dan Rather or the Stephen A of Dallas Cowboy reporting. He reports all the important information that the Cowboy fan base need to know. The biggest fan base in all of sports. He reports all the informations, the ins, the outs. He has all the scoops on everything. And let's get an applause for my man Tyson, man.
Dude, I appreciate the interest, man. Humbled, don't get humbled. I know you guys I think you guys were talking about the coronavirus, man. I just think, my whole approach on it is a little different, man. Like, I just think so many people are just allowing themselves to get so consumed by this, man. And I kind of had not even a situation, but I kind of had like a kind of an enlightening point, like, with my lady this morning. I had to tell my lady, like, going forward, unless it's some new information that's like put out from like our doctors and people that we are directly impacted for, it's like no more researching. No more, none of it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? We're going to deal with what we need to deal with. But so many people, and what I've noticed too, man, just what I've learned from football, people will research themselves to death until they literally dump. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And it's like and a lot of times more information just means more worry and doubt for most people. You know what I'm saying? Because typically you're getting more information. You're supposed to be getting more information, so you're supposed to ease your fears of whatever you're thinking about. Like when I'm watching a film, if somebody says somebody sucks, I say, okay, I'm gonna go watch the film. That's either gonna ease my thoughts on that person sucking, or it's gonna solidify whatever the accusation. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is people are coming up with, they're researching, and they're getting more fearful. You know what I'm saying? So it's like for me, I tell people it's like at this point of this coronavirus, it's time to like kind of take your mind and the things you think about by hold and start trying to build through this. Because at some point, just like I'm a firm believer in the Word of God. So I believe just like this had a starting point, this had an ending point. But the worst thing that people are going to have is a bunch of wasted time of them just sitting around on the internet. So it's like, that's what I kind of told my lady today. Like you need to take a day and kind of focus on like, so what are some of the positive things that have come from this? And people are like, oh my God, what do you mean positive things? There's nothing positive. Yes, there is. My wife used to work 47 miles away from her house. Now she works 1.2 miles away from my house. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because now she's at home now. You know what I'm saying? Different things, so there's different, it's just as far as us spending time together now. You know what I'm saying? There's way more time that we are able to be spent, because of the situation. So it's like, I think everybody needs to take some time just as much, because I know everybody has thought about the worst case scenarios. Like I didn't even have the conversation about possibly this turning into like a zombie apocalypse. Like you never know. So we had the conversation just in case. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like people are refusing to also look at and I don't want nobody to misconstrue what I'm saying, the positive things with this, but there have been some positive things that have come from this. Like, my business online socially has grown ridiculous.
Exactly. That was why I started a podcast, T. Man,
yeah, it has grown ridiculous.
Exactly. Like the Zoom software, they have doubled their yearly financial situation. They actually reported that the other day. But
and think about this. Zoom has done, because I use Zoom for everything I do. Zoom has done 2 manual updates since all this has happened. And the reason being is because there's so many people on their network that they're having to open up. So it's like, if you have a social media business, I mean, your business should be growing. I see you grinding every day. That's why I was like, man, I got to get on here because I see him grinding.
Thank you.
I'm doing 2 and 3 shows every day.
Wow.
And the thing about it is, the thing that I'm encouraging everybody is, everybody needs to be creating sustainable stuff right now.
Exactly.
So when this is all past, you'll be up. You know what I'm saying? Like an idea that me and my wife said we're going to do is this. Anything that the government allows us to defer without any type of like recourse or negative effect on our credit, we're going to defer it. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to take that money, and instead of stacking it, we're going to take half of it, stack it, and the other half, we're going to pay it towards some of these credit cards I have.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when all this is done, because you got to think, man, it's like Ford Motor Company is giving, I think that's the worst thing that people do. I'm not going to take no aid. And if they're giving you help, take it.
Exactly.
Take it.
Exactly.
Take the help and allow it to let you get up. That's what I'm doing.
Back to your point about finding something to do, and that's, what, everything you said is what I'm doing myself. I'm using this time to just, first of all, I'm staying prayed up, man. Like you said, I'm doing
Absolutely.
the government. I told my co-host yesterday, I said, I'm following the guidelines that the government gave me, and I'm staying prayed up. Because I don't want to worry. I really believe that if you do what you're supposed to do, you're gonna be okay. So, like
exactly.
I said, if I have to get out, I got a mask on. You know what I'm saying? I only go where I need to go, and then I come right back home, and then I stay prayed up. And then I pray for other people as well, because it's a lot of my friends and my family. Well, not my family, but a lot of my friends who has contracted the coronavirus. And I had a couple guys in town that was on their deathbed, and I was praying every day for those guys. But I done what you just said. Me and my co-host, we always debate. We debate everything. We'll be in McDonald's and we'll debate a French fry being smaller or larger than the other one. And so we always said, we was like, we got to get a podcast. So we've been saying for the last 2 years, we got to get a podcast. And the quarantine, it made me pull the trigger. It made me pull the trigger on it. I looked into it and I seen how feasible it was. And I was like, hey, I can do that. And I said, that's not that bad. I YouTubed like for 2 days, researching, and I checked out I checked you out for like two or 3 days straight. I was just seeing, because you're very professional. So, and for me, you were the bar. I was like, if mine can look half as good as his, I said, I'm gonna be okay. And then Ron Scarlett called in and he gave me props. He said, Trav, you looking pretty good. He said, look like you've been doing this for a while. And I said, you know what? I told him, I said, it's kind of like DJing for me. When I became a DJ, I just automatically knew how to do it because I party all the time. And podcasts, when you're a Cowboy fan, there's no shortage of Cowboy podcasts. So everybody has I see podcasts 3-4 times a day, along with the Breakfast Club, along with First Take, along with Get Up. So I'm always, so I kind of I had an idea of how you do it, but it was actually pulling the trigger on it. I done it that first night, I was nervous, but since it's been 2 weeks now and I'm a little more comfortable and getting some approvals from you and you and Ryan has really been helpful.
Well, I appreciate it. And I don't want anybody to misunderstand when I say look at the positive things, but it's like, this is like one of those situations. It's like complaining about gas prices. It's like, until cars are like can fly or they really don't need gas, it's like you gotta have to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't really have a choice. So it's like what I've decided in my life where it's like things that I don't have a choice or control over, I'm just gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? If I gotta put gloves on, I'll put the gloves on. But I'm not gonna have a 45-minute like conversation in my head and allow the effect of me driving out and seeing other people with gloves. I'm not gonna let that control me, because at some point because what's gonna happen is, you know, the people who are affected by the virus, who get the virus, then you know they're gonna have physical things that they're gonna have to deal with. But what happens to all of these people who don't get the virus, but you don't do anything productive in the next 3 months? Exactly. Like imagine if you're an NBA. Imagine if you're like, it's like Des Bryant, you know. And I had to find a way to bring Cowboys up in this, but that's the best part. Like a lot of these people are mad at at NFL players because you know they're working out and they're working out with their individual trainers. But it's your shit like this. It's like when all this is over, the whole world is going to turn back around to normal, and guess what? Those expectations of them being prepared are going to be like, well, bro, what have you been doing, Dad? You ain't been
right, exactly. They're gonna flip the script on them.
You don't exactly, and you don't want to do that. You don't want that happening in your mind. Like you don't want 3 months from now okay, everybody can go back outside, and you come out looking like Tom Hanks, and you like, what do I have to show for it? Nothing.
You know what I just thought about when you said that? The Greek Freak, he admitted. Now this was the MVP of the NBA last year, and he told us that he didn't even have a basketball rim at his house. Come on. How the NBA player of the year? He said he can't work out. He said he can't work on basketball in the quarantine because he don't have a rim at his house. How the NBA?
Well, I mean,
how the MVP?
That's the amateur. Them is different. Hey, my boy Kobe said, I remember Kobe on his vacation. I was watching this video on his vacation, and Kobe said it's so hard for his family to go on vacations. And I'm thinking, like, how is it so hard for his family to go on vacations, bro? You're worth like $400 million. And Kobe said because of the requirement is I won't go anywhere that doesn't have a basketball court.
Wow, that is crazy.
Like, so Kobe won't even it's a requirement. And he said it's such a struggle. He was just saying like it's a struggle going on vacations. They're like, why? He's because while when he was playing, he would not go anywhere that did not have a basketball court.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Hey, check this out. They're gonna go ahead. Are you okay with them doing the virtual draft? Are you okay with that?
I'm okay with it because the draft basically is already virtual. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that you're really doing, you're not actually experiencing. You're not in the room, with Jerry, discussing it. So the only thing I didn't been to the last 3 drafts, and the only thing that you're really experiencing is them walking out. And then you also have the experience of the players. Okay. But I mean, the thing about it is so many of these players now have, they want if you ask a guy, like, would you rather spend this moment with your mom and your agent, or would you rather spend this moment with your mom and your entire city? Most guys are going to be like, I would rather spend it at home with my entire city and my people. You know what I'm saying? With all my people around me. So It's like so many kids were already, they just started doing this last year, but they actually started compensating these kids to come to the draft because so many kids were like, man, I'd rather just stay at my house, have 50, 70 people in my house and get that call like that, have my grandma all around me. More kids respect that than going onto the stage and, the whole spectacle, unless you're a number one overall picks. But I don't have a problem with it. I think it's the best thing. I think it's the best recourse to keep it. The NFL has to do what they can do to keep this as normal as possible.
Exactly. Exactly. I got one more question for you. Now, you say you on 3 times a day. Have you done a mock draft yourself? Have you done the Tyson West Coast mock draft? Have you done one yet?
I have actually done mock draft.
Can you shed some light on it right quick? Who's the Cowboys' first draft pick for you?
And I mean, in my, I always go by needs. I always go by needs. The greatest needs in the Dallas Cowboys offense is guard. Why? Because you have a huge hole where Connor Williams or Connor McGorrin's supposed to play. With Travis Frederick retiring, you don't have Joe Looney as the backup anymore because he's going to be a starter. He can't be a starter and backup at the same time. It's not possible. So you have a hole at the guard position. That's your biggest hole on offense. Your biggest hole on defense currently right now, it was defensive tackle, but they've done a ridiculous job of sewing that up. I would think the next biggest hole, honestly, on defense is your linebacker. Reason being is because you have Jalen Smith, who's never been hurt. But you got to remember that's technically not true because he was hurt his first year. So technically he's still which we considered an injury type player because he's been injured at some point.
Are you cool with Alden Smith? Are you cool with Alden Smith? Are you cool with that?
I'm okay with him.
Okay.
I'm okay with Alden Smith as long as nobody fights me on Dez Bryant. I mean, as long as you don't fight me on Dez. But don't tell me a guy who hasn't played since 2015 can play, but a guy who hasn't played since 2018 can play. You know what I'm saying? As long as you're okay with that, I'm fine.
Now, okay, that brings up another question. So are you okay with bringing Dez back? You okay with that too?
Absolutely. I mean,
I
mean, for the Dallas, in a quick answer, man, business-wise, it makes sense because the day Dez Bryant signed, Jerry Jones is going to make $1 billion in jersey sales. So it makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know financially.
Yeah. I didn't want him to go. I didn't want him to go, man. I was really hurt when he left.
Me neither. And then if you look at points, you need someone that's going to come, and we need an extra 6 to 7 touchdowns a year. That's what we need. Well, Randall Cobb gave that to us last year at the tune of $5 million. He went and now he's going to give his services to Houston for $7.5. Dez Bryant took a 1-year deal in New Orleans for $1.7 million. Like, that is nothing. Jason Witten got to 3 touchdowns, and we paid him $2 million. Exactly. I say give the same $2 million that you did not want to give Jason Witten, give it to Dez Bryant, and just tell him, hey, bro, I need 6 touchdowns, which he, over the course of his career, has been able to score. My last thing I'm going to say on Dez is I don't really need Dez Bryant. Like, I don't need Dez Bryant. I need Amari Cooper. What I need Dez Bryant 2 or 3 times a game, and that is when I'm in and around the end zone. Can Dez be Dez Bryant 2 to 3 times a game?
Yeah,
I believe
exactly.
I believe so.
I just want to let you guys know we're who we have on the line. Tyson West Coast. He is the guru of the Dallas Cowboy Nation, and he's like our Stephen A. He goes to back. He reports all the information. He gives us all the scoops on everything that's going on Dallas Cowboys. He's all over the country, taking pictures with all the players. He's in all of the locker rooms. But he's just a man. Probably one of the biggest faces in Cowboy Nation. So let's hear it for Tyson West Coast.
It was a blessing, brother. And hey, anytime you on the air, just hit me up and let me know.
I tell you, you know what I'm gonna do? What time is your show on in the afternoon? I want to come on in the afternoon. If you
show.
Go ahead.
Go say it again.
No. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying I do a show. My show is from Sunday to Thursday, and then I do anything that's breaking news on Friday and Saturday. And then I just I do 2 shows. I do one at 12 p.m. I guess 12 p.m. Dallas time, and then also 8 p.m. Dallas time, which is also 10 and 6 p.m. Pacific time. And this Monday I actually have Keith Smith. I got this Monday. I have Keith Smith, former starting fullback for the Dallas Cowboys. He just actually re-signed with the Atlanta Falcons, but I got him coming in on Monday, and I'll be interviewing him about his time with the Cowboys, and then his time with the Atlanta, and just the difference between blocking for Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott had his best season with Keith Smith, and we have been totally different since he left. So I definitely want to ask him about that.
Oh, that's going to be a good look.
Miz Korona, our current fullback, is not what that is.
Oh, that's going to be a good look. Tyson West Coast, y'all. Thanks for calling, man. I really appreciate the call. I really appreciate you, man. And hey, you know, we'll see each other around.
Absolutely, sir. You have a blessed day.
Okay, you too. Thanks. My man, Tyson West Coast. That's my Cowboys family, Q. Q, you still there, right?
Yeah. We got an interviewer that's ready to get online.
Is she there?
She's been waiting.
You got her clicked in?
No, she's been calling on the line. You had
there she is. I got her. Here she is right here. I got her. It's the Big Trav and Q Show. Who's on the line?
This is Miz Korona. What's good?
Miz Korona. Everybody make some noise for Miz Korona.
What up? What's going on with
you? Nothing. Welcome to the show, man. We so excited to have you on, man. When Q told me that you were coming on the show, I was like, what? For real? Vanessa?
Listen, thank y'all for having me.
Oh, no, for sure, man.
It's a beautiful thing to see y'all doing this at this time. You know what I mean? So
thank you. Yeah, we started it because we started the podcast because of the quarantine. We was like, we ain't got nothing else to do, Q, man. Let's start a podcast.
Right.
So
and you know what? This tragedy is actually producing some really, really great things creatively for artistic folks. You know, we're trying to get through it as best as we can. So, thank y'all.
One thing that came out of this is the album, The Virus. You know what?
Yeah.
You know what, Miz Korona? I went through this. I got prepared for the show and everything. I said, man, I was looking at your tracks and listening to the songs. I said, man, she just done this about a month ago.
Yeah, I did it actually. I did it.
When did you start?
I started it. When did I went in the studio? The Sunday before St. Patrick's Day was the first session. So I started writing to it. I think it was that Friday. It moved really quick. It was like less than 2 weeks.
Well,
everything recorded and wrote out.
I tell you what. Let me introduce you. Let me lay out your history a little bit more for everybody else. Everybody, of course, know her as Vanessa from the 8 Mile track. The 8 Mile movie. And the food truck scene in the movie when she was talking about her job, and then Exhibit come back, and then Eminem comes in and gets him, man. We'll get into that in a minute, but I just want to run down some of the things that you have done for our guests. As I prepared for this, I was really blown away at everything I found out. I found out that you opened up for Run DMC. Is that true? You opened up for Run DMC?
Yes.
You performed?
Yeah, that's very true.
You performed in front of MC Light? Is that true too?
Yeah. True. I actually asked her to come to see me perform. It was at one of the Impact seminars in Orlando. And I ran down on her after she did a panel, and I asked her to come to my show and critique me if she had the time to do so. And she did it. I was actually shocked.
That was dope. That was dope.
Man, that's like, to me, Light is like, that's the beginning of it all for me.
And I see here also it said you was touring in France. Who was you touring with in France? Talk about that.
I went out there with my brother Finale, and we went out there with a couple other artists from Detroit, and we actually went and created an album. We had 7 days to do a project with this label over there. So we went over there, they made the beats, we wrote the album, and knocked that out 7 days. Then we went back like 6-7 months later and toured for 2.5 months. So that was a beautiful thing.
That was awesome.
Shout out to Finale and Yogi One, who's the producer from France, and Charles Trees from over here in Michigan as well. So yeah, it was dope. That was an interesting thing though. France is interesting. Europe is interesting in general. It's amazing over there. I wanted to stay over there. I probably should have, seeing what's going on in the United States. It's crazy, but
Yeah, that's probably a good place to be right now, huh?
Well, you know what? It's crazy. It's scary all over the place. I would rather be here right now at this time with my, closer to my family during this pandemic. But just the way that they treat artists and everything, it's a little bit better over there, honestly.
Of course. And it says you opened for Scarface. Where was that at?
I did.
Where was that at?
That was at a venue. What was the name of that place? It was downtown behind Coco's House of Comedy. I forget what the name of.
Shout out to Coco.
The venue was. Yeah, shout out to Coco, and it was crazy because it was Scarface, me, and Cha Cha that did that show. And that shit was crazy, man. Like,
yeah.
I've done a lot of things, but being able to touch the stage and open up for artists that you just mentioned, man, it's been a blessing, and to still be relevant because I started doing this at a young age.
I seen that. It says you started at 10. You started writing at 10 and performing at 14. Well, talk about the beginning. Talk about the beginning. What made you want to start writing or become a rapper? What made you go down that path?
So when I was younger, my dad, who is my biological father, who is a member of the Floaters, 70s group, the Floaters, he tried to get me to sing when I was younger, but my mother actually introduced me to hip hop.
You mean the Floaters? The Floaters float on?
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
Exactly. Yeah, but my mom introduced me to hip hop, so I really attribute my start of my career to her. as well as my social studies teacher, Miss Anderjack. You know, fourth grade, she gave us, it was like third, fourth grade, she gave us books to write, like poems and short stories about summer vacations and things like that. But my mother gave me a record player and 2 pieces of vinyl for one of my birthdays, and I started listening to those instrumentals and just transferring those poems and stories into raps. I was emulating the Run DMC and the, JJ Faz and Salt and Pepper. Shout out to my mom. She's watching right now. Her and my dad are, they're at home, getting better. They, tested positive for COVID-19. So, just keeping them in my prayers.
Yes. Yeah. I'll pray for them. Shout out to Mom. What's up, Mom?
Yeah. We out there. She's like, I'm here.
we love your daughter, Mom.
Thank you, bro. She introduced me to hip hop, so because I figured I couldn't sing that well when I, you know what I'm saying. So, thank her. I'm thanking her.
That's okay. That's okay, because you can spit fire. You can spit fire. You ain't got to sing because you be spitting that fire for real.
Hey, but in my heart, I be thinking I can sing. Though.
Go ahead. Go ahead and give us a little bit of singing. Go ahead and give us some float on. No. I'm just kidding. Hey Q. Go ahead and chime in here, man, because I got a lot more for it. Go ahead and chime in.
What up, Q?
Yo, Q.
I think Q, he done hit mute by mistake.
Hold on. I hope he hasn't. Let me see. Let me make sure he's still on the line. Hold on. Yo, Q, you there?
I don't know. He might have made a mistake.
Yo, Q.
He might have made a mistake and hung up on us.
Hold on. Let me see here. I'm trying to merge him in this call. Okay, it's not doing it.
Well, I'm going to shout out some people I see.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
And Stacey J, that's my homie on there. My homegirl, Kimberly, my childhood friend, Cicely. What's up, Cicely? We grew up together. Hey, look, I growing up writing raps, I would always be like, listen to this. Her and my cousin Trisha, they would be like this, and my cousin Javon. I'm like, y'all listen to this. Tell me what y'all think. So, or watching,
Okay.
But I don't know what Q was. So what y'all? I mean, how y'all hold it?
I think he's
here.
He's in here.
I'm finally in here.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
What's up, Q?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm staying out the way. I'm trying to stay healthy. Just trying to stay positive for my people, and that's all I can do.
Man, I'm so excited for you to be on the show. I see Travis been doing his thing, getting some interview on with you. But it's crazy to have you on. Everybody's been hitting me up earlier today. They were so anticipated for you coming on the show because they want to know what's been going on with you. They got so many questions. I actually got a couple of questions in the chat line, but I see you was doing your shout outs. So go ahead.
Okay. Well, let's roll out those questions that people, had. I just already shouted out my people. So, I'm ready to rock and roll with this interview. I'm a little nervous about these questions because y'all be hitting me with some stuff. I'm like,
nah, we got love for you. These are all love questions. Go ahead, Q.
The first one is easy. They just want to know what was it like being on the set of 8 Mile and working with Eminem and being in Detroit around that time period.
Man, it was. It was crazy. It was crazy in a good way, being on set with M and Exhibit. It was super cold, you know what I mean? Like take after take we had to do, but it's if you ever been on a movie set, that's the type of thing, but that was my first movie, so I wasn't really aware of how it happened. And, even writing my verse and submitting it to them and them coming back and telling me like, nah, this one not good enough. This one not good enough. I'm like, damn, maybe they might snatch my part from me. You know what I mean? So I really had to step it up. But what a lot of people didn't know is that I actually had laryngitis all the way leading up to the point of me doing my scene where I was rapping. And I had to pray super hard. And then it was like all the ladies that were on set, who were like the nurses or whatever, they were like pumping me up with vitamin C and throat lozenges and everything. And you know, you thinking like I'm not a superstar celebrity like, you know, Brittany Murphy and Marshall and all of them cats. So, but the fact that they were really like attentive and tending to me because they wanted to see me win, they wanted to see me succeed and do a great job. They really made sure that I was taken care of just as well as any other person with a bigger name was on that set. So I was appreciative of that. And then also it was a closed set, but they allowed my mom to be able to come on. And they didn't know that was my mother. And everybody was like, yo, who is that lady? She's fine. Like, and I had, you know, I'm looking at them like, who are you talking about? And then I told him, I'm like, hey man, that's my mom. He like, yo, your mom is fine. I'm like, yeah, she married already. You know,
check this out. I got a sidebar right quick. Q, before you finish your questions, I always wanted to know this. When I knew you was coming on, this is what I want to ask you. Do you remember your verse from the movie?
I do. I mean, unfortunately, I can't. I'm not allowed to forget it because people rap it to me all the time. But you know,
can you spit it right quick?
You cash at me $4.25. I'll do it. Now I'm just joking. Yeah. Before I get into that, I want to shout out Ann Zone and Violet. But what was the verse of 8 Mile?
Oh wow!
Hey, yo, I'm so sick and tired of fucking with this still. They only give me 30 minutes to eat lunch and chill. You know, I mean, I ain't gonna keep going.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. That was dope, man. That's okay, man, because I love playing that.
To me, honestly, Trav and Q, that wasn't even the coldest verse that I submitted. You know what I mean? Was
that already written? Was that something you already had, or did you come up with that for the movie?
No. I had to come up with it right then and there. I was in my trailer, and they were like, you know, you got to write a verse and submit it to, you know, to them, and or either they said that I had the choice to go with the writers that they had, or to submit my own verse, and I was like, I'm gonna write my own verse.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I ended up submitting 3 verses, and the first 2 they turned down. I was a little shook. I was nervous. I was like, man, I hope they pick this third one. And that, to me, it wasn't the dopest one, but I was really, really trying to get my claim.
Right.
I was really trying to go, but they was like, nah. They didn't want me to like overshadow M's part, you know, because it was his job to come in and like, you know, demolish him and ridicule him. You know what I mean? For tearing me and the other employees down. But I was trying to come out the gate. Like, you know, I come from the back.
Right, for sure.
I was trying to come out the gate like, oh, okay. But they was like, nah, this ain't that.
Now,
you know,
Exhibit is from Detroit. Did you know him before the movie? I mean, did you?
I did know him. I did know him before the movie because we met at a previous Impact seminar that was in Reno, Nevada, and during that time frame, you know, I had on like a Michigan jersey walking through. It was like a casino in Reno, Nevada that they held the.
Shout out to Michigan. Whoop, whoop.
Right, and so he was like, "Yo, what you know about Michigan?" By the way, I was all throughout that piece, like starting ciphers with everybody with. You know, sons of man. Like I'm out there rapping with everybody because I was just a young female just really trying to get on, and that was a platform where you had a lot of artists walking through, you know, that like doing these showcases and everything. So he's like, "What you know about Michigan?" I'm like, "I'm from Detroit." You know, so we started talking, and he chopping it up with me, and I knew exactly who he was because you know he had the paparazzi join a little bit before that. But like, so let me tell y'all another story.
Okay.
He came to Detroit around the time when Pun dropped the Still Not a Player joint.
Right.
They did a show in Pontiac, and the show got shot up. You know what I mean? But I'm at the show with him. I'm like, oh, yeah, you know, we go back, but I didn't even tell people at the time, like, you know, that was my cousin, but that was years before the movie even dropped, you know, and then people didn't find out that we were related until the movie came out, but. I don't be talking about it like that because shit.
It don't matter. It don't matter because you represent it. You represented the D. You represented the D. Right. Go ahead, Q. Exactly. Go ahead, Q.
Now, the next question they have is, we always talk about Big and we always talk about Pop, but they had a legendary MC from Detroit and Proof. Can you talk about Proof, and can you give us one memorable story that you want to share with us about working with Proof?
Man, it's so many memorable stories about working with Proof. He was one of my mentors coming up, but he's actually the reason why I switched my name from my old name, which I won't say on here, because he harassed me. He harassed me about that name not being dope enough for me. He was like, yo, this name that you got right now is only gonna take you so far. But aside from that, he was just a really kind and hilarious and giving person, and he opened up his studio to me and a bunch of my homies. Whenever I wanted to go in there, he would get mad when I didn't want to hang out down there for days at a time. And actually, he would call my mom and be trying to tell on me, man. I'm like, look, bro, I can't hang with y'all for 5 days straight. I need to go home and shower. I need to do things that girls do, But that was my big brother, and he's very missed. He's missed a lot. Like, man, the mayor of Detroit for sure.
Yeah, that's
touched a lot of people's careers and molded a lot of people's careers in the city, for real.
Now, I also noticed that you did you go through with the album release listening party on Facebook on Thursday? Did you go through with that?
I did.
Okay. How did that go? How did that go?
It went pretty good. It went really fast. I mean, the EP is only 6 songs, but my man Adrian Plug, he did a really great job hosting it via his broadcast platform, and a lot of people chimed in, and the questions started rolling. First, people were just listening, and the questions weren't coming in, but then they started rolling in super fast, and I wasn't able to answer them as quickly as I wanted to. But the response and the support that I've been getting from the project, it was really overwhelming. And I'm extremely honored because I stepped away for almost 4 years or so, and I didn't make a major announcement. It was like I said, it was like a 2-week time span that all of this stuff even rolled out. But I was like 1 minute like, yo, I need a place to record, and then the next week I was like, I'm dropping the EP. I didn't really anticipate doing this. It wasn't really thought out or planned out. I went with the flow of what I felt like the universe was telling me I needed to do at the time. So I listened.
Now, did you have any run-ins with Eminem in the underground in the beginning days? Did you have any run-ins with him?
I did. A couple times we ended up in the same studio at the Disc. He was in there recording with a group that I used to hang out with called Indigenous Tribe. He did a couple of records with them. And so one time I went in there and he was in the booth freestyling. It seemed like it was about an hour. I'm like, I was like blown away. I'm like, damn, like this motherfucker, like he sick. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just in awe because I had seen him at like open mic spots once or twice before when I was younger, sneaking into the V's. And this was before when people were like giving him a hard time about being like really kind of like the only white kid on the scene or whatever. But later down the line, I'm like, yo, he's dope. He's insane. And then like maybe 3 weeks later, he came. He was like, I got a deal with Dre and blah, blah, blah.
Damn.
Then ended up seeing him at the Emerald Theater in Mount Clemens, and he was like, yo, one of these days we're gonna do something. We're gonna do something together because you're dope. And I was like, for sure. And then next thing you know, he was just like bigger than any artist that I've ever seen and known in person.
Now let me ask. Now after the movie, I mean, you didn't try to make nothing happen after the movie. I mean, you guys didn't try to connect after the movie. You, him, and Exhibit. You guys didn't try to make anything happen.
Nah, I mean, I tried as much as I could to try to get on with whoever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not just Shady Records, but just trying to get a deal with any reputable label at that time. But, things didn't work out. They didn't really see, I guess they didn't really see any value in me as an artist because of image. They never really said anything about, you know, the music, except for I needed to tone it down because I rap like a dude. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
But,
you know, I seen that researching for this, but they let the brat in though. The brat wasn't what they wanted, but they let the brat in though. I mean, man, so you know, I wonder what was going on with that. They let the brat in, and she wasn't.
Well, you know, the thing is that Jermaine Dupri, you have to have somebody who actually sees that potential in you, regardless of what. And you know, he saw that in her. He knew that he could make her a star. He saw beyond what the other labels looked at as non-marketable, not being able to market it. He knew that he could do something with her. You know, he looked at her talent, but you know, unfortunately, I never had anybody who looked beyond my sexuality and my image to see the talent and see, like, you know, well, this girl is a force to be reckoned with. You know what I mean? Like, we could do something with her, and you know, then years down the line, with the success of Young M.A., then people started coming out the woodwork like, yo, you need to come out of retirement.
Right.
It's a lane for you.
And
now.
She way hard. She way hard. You know, I mean, it don't get harder than that. So, but you know what?
But she's old though. You know what I mean? And she had to do it in a way. I think that without social media and without you know, the way that things are nowadays, where people gravitating towards you just because of word of mouth and, you know, social media hits and views, she wouldn't have the success because the labels still tried to give her that resistance too. You know what I mean? Like, trying to put her, to offer her movie roles to where she's dressed more feminine and this and that. And she's like, no, I'm not compromising myself for anybody. And I did the same thing as a younger person, like, you know, having the opportunity to possibly sign a deal, but they wanted me to compromise who I was and to sell myself out. And, you know, it was even a time where my support system was like, well, maybe you should just do it because, you know, you can get on and it's your dream. And I'm like, nah, I just didn't see myself.
Shout out to you. Shout out to you for standing your ground, because I tell you what, Korona, it wasn't because of your skills. Cause I went on your Bandcamp. And I heard Set Fire. I heard Who Am I? I heard Pendulum. I heard Most Slept On. I heard Love. I heard Take That, Killer Rhythm, the Injection, Dope Music. Oh, are you kidding me, man? Why you not signed? Why you not signed? Come on, man. You a straight lyrical wizard, man. For real. You can spit, man. For real. And
thank you so much.
Q, go ahead and ask her your last question, because I want to get into the current
Man, the
EP.
questions are coming in as she's talking, but I'm going to steer away from a couple of those because a lot of them was 8 Mile related. But I got a...
Hello? You there?
Uh-oh. I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Yo, Q.
Hello?
Yeah, I don't know. I got him on there. Okay. Uh-oh. Hold on. Let's see here.
You know, the 8 Mile, because that's what people are more familiar with. But, you know, that's why I said a line in this new EP. After this EP, don't call me Vanessa. That is not my
I was going to talk about that. That was in the virus. It says you say
the fact that have been doing it for many years is the reason why I got the part in the movie. It wasn't because they created, you know, or that movie didn't make me an artist. That movie did not start my career. The fact that I was already doing it, you know, and you know, stating my claim and claiming my position in the city is the reason why I got picked for that role. I still had to audition, but I still beat out, you know, hundreds of other young ladies who auditioned for that part. So I just wish people would do the history and that's not what. And I appreciate it. I'm honored that people still remember me from the movie, but it's more to me than just that, you know.
Exactly. And in the virus, you say this is my third shot. This is your third shot. What do you mean by that?
Well, one is this double entendre because it's like, you know, in the movie 8 Mile, they say the song was you only get one shot.
Oh, okay.
This is my third shot.
Oh, okay,
you know,
okay.
Because, you know, before the 8 Mile, the success of 8 Mile, like you read off me doing all those shows are opening up for those artists. You would consider that like my first shot, my first run at, trying to establish myself career-wise. Then I would look at 8 Mile as being like the second coming of, gaining more notoriety and establishing more fans because of that success of that movie. And then people looking at the credits and coming and finding me. But this is the third shot where I don't have a Eminem backing me. This was all created. This project was all created by the power above, giving me this inspiration to make this project. And I'm like, this is my third shot. Like some people think that you only have one chance to succeed or one chance to make a mark. But I don't believe that,
Nah.
So,
and then she follow up. She say, "Fuck that 8 Mile shit." She said after after this point, don't call me Vanessa. Oh, that was dope. That was dope, man. That was dope. Listen, after this, don't call me Vanessa. I'm done with that. The EP is out now.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about the EP.
So the EP is it's called The Virus, and just playing off the word because I felt like it was coming to try to steal my name, and I was like, yo, this was before a lot of the people around started playing getting sick, and I'm like, yo, I'm sick with the rhymes. I'm like, okay, I'm like whatever. I thought it was kind of clever to use that, and it features production by Chains, and he did the first single that is called The Virus, and it features LaShawn Phoenix, Nico Red, and Maestro Williams from Silent Riot. It also has production by Mark Cooper. He did 2 tracks, one with King Gordy and Marv One, and then my boy DJ Static from New York. But it's just 6 songs, in and out, just, reclaiming my name and my position, and letting people know that I'm still here. Don't forget about me, because I ain't going nowhere.
And you know what? I listened to it about 3 times, and it got a West Coast feel for it. I mean, is that on purpose? It got a West Coast feel.
No, none of it was on purpose. None of this was on purpose. It was all just, listen, when I tell you, man, it was all in under 2 week time frame. Like,
that's what I said. I said she had to do this in 3 weeks.
I wrote this project so fast. I've never created anything that I'm like I'm 1,000,000% confident that this is probably my best project to date.
It's dope. Definitely dope.
I stand on all my projects as being extremely dope, lyrically, beat selection, all of that. But this project right here, it seems like it was thought out and calculated, but it wasn't out. It's like 4 days writing, 4 recording sessions going in there, like, getting the album artwork and photo shoot done, like right when they announced the shelter in place and rolling it all out. And honestly, in less than 2 weeks, so to be able to make this project after a nearly 4-year hiatus and it being as strong as it is, I'm extremely proud of it. But this wasn't even thought out. It wasn't calculated. It was like, I just went with my gut. Like I heard the creator telling me that this is what I needed to do, and I just listened and I followed it. I almost did not do it, because a lot of people were dying from this, and I'm like, I don't want to upset anybody. I don't want people to think that I'm like making a mockery out of the severity of this situation. So, I almost talked myself out of it, and then I prayed on it, and here we are today having a discussion about the EP. And I think going back once all of the everything is like died down, and when we go back into normalcy and people get a chance to listen to it for what it is as a piece of art, and knowing that history that I have as an artist, being named Miz Korona for many years before this even happened, they're going to appreciate this project, especially hearing how it came about. It just happened, and that's what artistry is really about, like just dealing with feelings and your gut and not really overthinking things. And it gave me a new appreciation of music and creativity all over again. Like, this unfortunate circumstance, it really did put me in a place of realizing, like, you don't have to take 3 years to create something that you feel is impactful. You know.
You know what my favorite was?
Take 4 days.
My favorite track was Respect the Name. That was my favorite. Yo, Q, you know what she told him, Q? She said, call him Van Gogh, because they ain't listening.
You know?
She said, call him, you know Van Gogh, he lost one of his ears. I don't know if I got to play it out for you. Oh, that was dope. That was dope, man.
Yeah.
You could tell he's a DJ because he's really listening to your tracks and everything.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, you know what? I was a fan. I was a fan. When you told me she was coming on to the show, I was like, really? Oh, I was like, oh. So I went in.
I appreciate that.
I got prepared.
My boy DJ Static did that track, and you know, I felt like even coming up with the titles for the songs was like, you know, I'm like, okay, it was just like spur of the moment. I went in the booth, the engineer Dale from Silent Right, he's like, okay, what we calling this? I'm like, okay, we're gonna call it Respect the Name. But I had that track sent to me like over a year ago, and I never did it because I never wrote to it because I wasn't in the place of creativity from that aspect. I was just strictly doing visual work and doing photography, you know. But I went.
That's my favorite. Like, that's my favorite. It took a minute, but that's my favorite. Shout out to DJ Static. Yo, Static, man, you done your thing on that, baby.
He cold.
Oh yeah. Now you know.
You know that meant that you did listen, and when you appreciate that when people actually listen and like decipher the lyrics and everything. Shout out to Daryl and Kai, my sister Kai on here watching, my boy Kamal. I appreciate y'all having me on this show. Like, this is really.
Listen.
Like
we want you to remember us when you on top getting your Grammy. We want you to remember us, man.
Okay, for sure. You know, listen, let me tell you, anybody that knows me knows that I'm one of those people who, once we establish a good vibe and energy, it's like family. You know what I mean? I don't really consider people who support me fans. It's like, you know, we be talking like we really family. You know what I'm saying? Like, they be following my mom and my siblings on social media, and we communicate, and you know what I mean? So that's what I'm about. I'm about establishing lifelong relationships with people. It's not about, you know what I mean? So I ain't gonna forget y'all as long as y'all don't forget me.
No, we're not. Okay. You know, I got some side notes. You know, not only, you know what, I researched you really good. And what I found out about you is that you know, not only can you spit rhymes and you're a hard working person and you consistent and you a beast and all of that. I found out about some organizations that you involved with. Is it the Seraphim Collective? The Seraphim Collective? What
Seraphim
talk about
Collective. That's it's an all-female collective of women DJs. I'm not exactly directly affiliated with them. You know, that's my extended family, of course. I've did some of their events, but I'm not a DJ. I've hosted and performed at, you know, some of their events, but
do you know DJ Elixir? Do you know DJ Elixir?
I do.
Oh, okay. I don't know her, but she has a YouTube page, and she give out advice for DJs on her YouTube page. So I was just wondering if you knew her. So
yeah, she's dope. You know, you know what was beautiful about that is the fact that you know, all of them create a safe space for women to go in, and they teach each other. You know, so it's always like a learning thing with one another, and then they will like bring in up and coming women DJs, and like, you know, DJ Elixir or 90 will like have another up and coming DJ open up for them at an event. It's dope. You know, it's almost like this thing that we created some years ago called the Foundation Women in Hip Hop, and it was just dedicated to women in hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I seen that. I seen the one called it was called Best Fest Forever Fest at the L Club. I don't know. Yeah, they said you performed there. So was that?
I did.
Okay.
That's for LGBTQ artists, and my homie T Miller, who's an amazing poet. They put that together. But yeah, it was, you know, it's a lot of organizations that I am affiliated.
I've seen that. Girls Rock Detroit,
yeah.
Dime, and Allied Media Conference. Yeah, I've seen that. You involved with all those. Yeah. Oh, that's a good look, man.
Allied Media Conference. I've probably hosted that thing about 5-6 years in a row.
Wow.
And I did my very first record release party at an Allied Media Conference in 2010 for The Injection. And then later on became one of the mainstay hosts for that conference. It's huge. I mean, thousands of people come in from all over the place. So, people should check into that once we open the outside back up and they do the next Allied Media Conference. I would really suggest that people look into that and come and support it.
That's a good look. I got one more thing for you, Q, and then you can have her. I also found out that you performed at the 15th anniversary of the 8 Mile movie at St. Andrew's Hall. You performed you performed Set Fire. Talk about that.
So actually, I was booked to host it. Well, co-host with Bushman, and shout out to Mikey Eckstein for reaching out to me and tapping in to book me for that. But then he reached out and said, "Hey, listen, I had a conversation with Mark and Marshall, and they were saying we should probably let you headline the show." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, Em's not going to be able to make it to perform, so they thought you should probably headline." And I was like, "Okay." So me and DJ Invisible, we rocked out. We did a whole hour set, and man, so many people came that I hadn't seen in eons, just off the strength that they saw me headline. And I mean, people came from out of state. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was like a reunion in a lot of ways. So I was very honored to be able to do that, and for them to have a conversation and say, we think that Miz Korona would be perfect to headline this. I was like, well, shit.
That's dope. And you should because you was just a bigger part of that movie as anyone else was in that movie. You know what I love? You know what's the guy, Anthony Mackie? Anthony Mackie. We know him as the Avengers movie now, Hawkeye, because I couldn't remember his name the other day. I was like, could he really rap? I mean, were you around when they was filming that scene?
I was
Papa Doc. Okay.
Those the set, it was the way that they shot that movie, it was really close. But once I saw how it was edited and brought together, I understood why. So with me being in that scene from the lunch truck, work setting, they didn't want to cross over the extras or cast members who played in those scenes. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was like a separation of his world.
Right.
It was understandable. So I wasn't able to go and be on the set for any of those battles. And I'm like, damn. And for a second, before I even saw how the movie came about, when I would hear the stories of, we did a battle scene with M, I'm like, why the fuck they had me at the lunch truck? I wanted to battle and take some heads off. But you have to, and that just goes to show, like, I was younger, but it just goes to show that appreciate the opportunity that you are given. You seize that moment. You know what I mean? Because that was a standout moment for me career-wise. And it was like a lot of the other people who battled, their scenes didn't make it, but mine was written in there purposely and it made it, so it's like, don't be envious of what somebody else has, because what's for you is for you. That was dope.
You know what I just thought about? Papa Doc, he didn't get a chance to rap. he didn't get a chance. I asked you, could Anthony Mackie really rap? But I just remember M got him so tough that he didn't even get a chance to rap. So he didn't even have to rap.
He rapped a little bit, and didn't he rap a little bit earlier on in the movie? I think.
I thought his boys went. Didn't his? I don't remember. He went. I didn't know if he went or not. I didn't know. I got to look at it again.
I think during that scene where he choked, he rapped a little bit.
Oh,
it was really quick. It was really quick. I don't know. I only watched that movie like 5 times.
I know. Now I got to look at it again. Okay, Q, go ahead. I wanted to ask her if she knew Sarah Stokes, but you go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Sarah Stokes from Making the Band. We noticed she was an extra in the movie, and I DJ'd for her. She done a concert in Toledo, and I DJ'd for her. Did you know Sarah Stokes?
I know Sarah. I knew Sarah a little bit before she did the Making the Band thing. So
Oh, okay.
We kind of go way back. We kind of go way back a little bit before that. But shout out to Sarah because she just recently got married to one of my close friends, and they make a beautiful couple. So
she divorced her. She divorced her baby daddy.
Man, thank God.
Yeah, he was a handful on the show on the reality series. He was and he was but you know what? But when he was with us, he was cool when he was with us. But anyway, go ahead, Q. Man, look, Q, go ahead.
Yeah, man. I mean, questions are coming in wild, but one of the questions they wanted to know is, what is your view on the female hip hop scene right now, and on hip hop? What is your outlook on that right now? And is there anybody that you're like, on radar with, checking for, or listening to? And just basically, they just want to know what's your thoughts on a female hip hop scene right now.
I feel like a lot of the women in the industry are watching these guys.
Yeah.
They are watching. Yeah. They are watching them. You know what I mean? Like the albums are structured better. They've taken their time. They really are being calculated about how they create these projects. But I also think that it's not enough. It's not enough variety. It's not enough women. It's so many guys, and they don't really care about the image of the guys or how they look, or you know what I mean. It doesn't matter, but they try to pick and choose the type of women that they put into the forefront. But right now, what the industry is too, like I said earlier, you can create this whole thing without a machine behind you. It's great to have a distribution deal behind you because you can get more legs in it, and like pushing it a lot longer, and get a lot of broader spectrum when you put these albums out. But these women watching these dudes, man, like
it's funny you say that, because you know what, Cardi B and Offset got a song called Clout, and Cardi B come in at the end and mop his ass up, man.
Yeah, she's watching these guys. And man, she might be like, oh, but she don't write her own stuff. So some of these niggas don't write their own stuff. Okay, yeah, but it doesn't matter. She watching them.
Man, she cleaned him up in that song. Listen, if you guys haven't heard, if you haven't heard that song, Clout,
not writing their own stuff and they watching somebody like they watching.
Yeah, Meg Thee Stallion is dope.
I would put Young M.A.'s project up against any of these dudes who just dropped something within that same time frame, and her project is put together way better. And I'm not just saying that because for a long time it was like, oh my God, like
she is dope.
We need some women to come in to save us. You know what I mean? But man, I'm proud. And then it's a lot of young up and coming women who are doing it. Shout out to Detroit Che. Shout out to Crimson Alchemist. Like they from Detroit. They doing.
You cool with Cash Dow? You cool with Cash Dow?
I've never met Cash Dow.
Never met Cash Dow.
I've never met Cash Dow.
What about Dej Loaf? What about Dej Loaf? Dej Loaf. Are you cool with Dej Loaf? Or you got a relationship with her, Dej Loaf?
I met Dej Loaf like twice, coming out of DJ Stacey J's studio when she had her spot some years ago. But
okay,
she don't. Nah, I wouldn't say we cool. She probably would be like, she don't even know me. And that's cool.
But you know what? you know what? I just realized that Detroit is popping again, man. I mean, not that they stopped, but but right now they really doing good right now because Cash Dow doing good and
Sada Baby.
Yeah, Sada Baby. T Grizzly. Oh man, you know what? Mm-hmm. You can't rock a Sweet 16 without Sada Baby.
He to me right now is he's the hottest. And people might ridicule me and say whatever, but he's the hottest to me. Like I listened to that new project that he put out a few weeks ago. maybe about 3-4 times back to back the other day, and I was just like, wow. I mean, he's extremely entertaining, and I knew him growing up. You know, his mom and my mom are really close friends. Shout out to Andrea, but I didn't even know he rapped. You know what I'm saying? Until maybe about 5 years ago, he was sitting down at Starters, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I'm about to start rapping, and you got to support me and take me out." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah." Like, and then next thing you know, he threw the roof. I was like,
I know. Wow. I remember the first time the kids came up to me and said, "Can you play 2K17?" And I downloaded it because he didn't make a clean version. And I downloaded it and I previewed it in my headphones. I was like, I can't play that.
But you know what I respected about Sada when I, you know, like I said, I hung out with him, and him knowing that my mom and his mom got a relationship. He never tried to come at me like, "Hey man, you know, can you introduce me to such and such or this and that?" He gonna get it on his own, and I respect that. I respected that so much. Like he just never tried to use any of his connections or ties to people, because he knows other people who are more famous than me, you know what I mean, or more rich than I am. But he's like, he gonna get it on his own. And you can only respect somebody who does that, creates their own lane.
Have you?
Man, the questions are just coming in crazy.
I know. I got them too. Go ahead.
Ask you this question. It's a two-part question. Yeah, this is a two-part question. They want to know, what is your favorite era of rap? It doesn't matter. It's not just female or male. Just your favorite era, period. And then the second one, they want to know, what is your favorite era of women's rap?
Okay. So my favorite era of hip hop or rap, I would say like mid 90s, early 2000s. Like, man, it's kind of tough because, you know, when they did that whole, when Rockefeller had that run with Beanie Siegel and State Property and everybody like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Rock the Mic. Rock the Mic was my cut. Rock the Mic.
Listen, like when they did that whole tour with everybody, and they had, you know, Method Man, Red Man was popping. That was when it was still like, it was still a good sport. It was still, you know, a variety that you had. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even though you had people within the same camps, they still had their own niche. They still had their own style and range. It wasn't everybody was sounding the same. You know, nowadays, everybody kind of sounds the same. You can't tell who from Atlanta. You can't tell who from Detroit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Down south sounding like Detroit rap. And, you know, back in the day, they used to say Detroit street rap was terrible. Now everybody rapping like Detroit street rappers. But as far as the female era goes, I gotta say the early era, because you had Queen Latifah, you had MC Lyte, you had, you know, Salt and Pepper, you had even, you know, later on down the line, you had Brad Rage, everybody, but they sounded different, you know what I mean? And this was before, you know, it became this whole pushing the sex as the image thing. Like, that's the era that I love. I love the era when women can get up there and rap and look like how they wanted to, and it wasn't just cookie cutter and everybody started looking the same. I remember when they put the brat in a cat suit.
Yeah, I remember all of that.
It was over. I was like,
I remember those two songs with Tyrese on the beach. What you like? Yeah, I was like, what you like?
It's over now. Everybody, we ain't got no chance.
You know what?
Everybody got to dress like this now.
I got a question. I got a question that's going to drive Q crazy. Now, I want your opinion on something. Do you really think Queen Latifah could rap?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Before you respond, let me say something real quick, Miz Korona. The whole thing about how this podcast came to be was, you have a promoter and you have a DJ, and we have different philosophy about hip hop all together. So we would endlessly debate about different eras, different songs, et cetera, et cetera. So we have a segment that we would talk about female MCs. And we would talk about, those who we feel that are underrated, those who never got to their, to their levels, and who we feel is better, et cetera, et cetera. So that's just giving you some full context of the reason why he's asking you this question.
Let me ask you this.
I go with Queen Latifah.
Korona, is Queen Latifah in your top 5 female MCs?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Wow. Yes. Her.
Wow.
Bahamadia.
Wow.
And she's an MC, Trav.
Wow.
She's an MC.
Wow.
She knows her music.
Okay. You know what? Okay, now I got a follow-up question.
Let me tell you, hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Why.
Okay, what? I want to know this.
Because she, regardless of how you feel, she might have been on the beats or whatever. She created a whole lane of where women, rocking the crowns and the royal garb was popular. She came in with Ladies First. That song alone is classic. You and ITY, that's classic. Who you calling the bitch? Come on now. Listen, her, Bahamadia, this is my list. Her, you said top 5. Her, Bahamadia, MC Light. This is no specific order.
Okay.
Right now.
I thought you said Jean Grey. I thought Jean Grey was one of yours.
Jean Grey is a unicorn. Jean Grey is a unicorn. She's a unicorn, man. Her and Baham really are unicorns. Like I hate to even do a female male category because their lyricists they just go.
You also said Little Kim. You also mentioned Little Kim. You said Little Kim was one of yours.
Yeah, Little Kim is. Come on now, Little Kim. And the reason why, because she changed the game. She changed the game. Like she made it to where the tomboyish looking girls, she changed it. I was a little mad about that because I don't want to wear no thongs and no heels. I ain't gonna look right. Well, I am quite sexy with a skirt on. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, but I don't feel comfortable in it, but I do look good in it. You know what I mean? But y'all will never see it unless my mom puts up an old photo. But yeah, the list goes on because, like I said, right now it's still up and coming artists who I look at as my fave.
You know what? I gotta bow down to your opinion. I might take a second look at Queen Latifah. So it's
Queen Latifah, and I understand why you probably say no because Vinny wrote a lot of her rhymes, but she still executed and she was graceful with it. And even this comeback verse that she did with K Slate, come on, like what? I
didn't think she had a body of work to be considered one of the best female rappers. I didn't think she did nothing she done and went platinum. And so I didn't think
that don't matter.
Okay, that's what Q says.
Thank you.
Q says that too. Q says that.
Say that again, please.
None of the shit that I dropped went platinum.
Right.
My shit
Okay,
went wood.
I got it.
But
I got that.
I can dust a lot of motherfuckers lyrics.
Listen, you can dust everybody in the game right now. That's real talk. That's real talk right now, man. That's real talk for real. Real talk.
See, this is what I see. You see, our philosophies are totally different. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I like the explanation that she gave. She talked about what Latifah done for the culture and what she done for female rappers. And I wasn't looking at it that way, so I got to look at it differently because
because Queen Latifah is almost like an Erykah Badu of
Okay, you're right.
Soul. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, Queen Latifah came out like, just another, and then she incorporated singing. That was before Lauryn Hill.
Right.
She made it cool to add that little jazzy vibe in there, and she was, just, and she's a beautiful person, but just looking at her, like her stature, everything, like
that's right.
Get him.
Get him.
Yeah, she wasn't what people would look at and be like, oh, this is just like the epitome of beauty. But she embraced that and embodied it so much so.
Even though Moni Love bodied her on her own track.
but hey, and Moni is the homie. Moni is the homie. But listen to this here. Moni Love, where's her? Like, what would you follow up with?
Right. But I just wanted to point. I just wanted to point that out.
Mommy love is nice, but guess what? Sometimes the best of us, we get bodied on the track.
Right. Okay. Well,
but you know what makes it even better? When you are humble enough to realize that you got bodied on the track and you didn't go back to rewrite your shit, so you don't get embarrassed.
All right, so is that a diss on LL and because what was the dude? What was it? The guy that LL he said he wrote his rap. Cannabis. He wrote his rap, and Cannabis said he went back and changed it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Cannabis, man. Where is he at now? So, but that was cool to hear your perspective on that. You know what? I got a new appreciation for Latifah for that now. So that's cool.
Yeah,
Thank you. So we can give some ladies in the 80s and the 90s some love, Trav. You know what I'm saying?
But that don't take.
I asked him about Raw Digger. I asked him about Nonchalant. I asked him about Lady Array. I was just going on and on and asking him about these particular MCs, and I know that. Records and sales, I know that's a big thing now, but in our time period, including myself, that's not what we was looking for at the time. It was
you just gave me another question for her. Lady of Rage, okay. Lady of Rage, one of the best females of all times, or no?
Yeah, Lady of Rage. I think just because of her style, you know what I mean? But I had to put Boss over her because I feel like that's what they kind of that's where her style came from. And
we just had Boss' daughter on the show.
No, please. Say that again. Say it again, please.
I feel like Ray's style was kind of created and built around the style that, of course, her personality, you know what I mean? Because I think that's really how Rage is, but I think her rap style kind of emulated Boss, because Boss was like that first rugged, raw.
Right.
And even though she's from Detroit, like back then she rolled with the West Coast cats, so they thought she was from the West Coast. But I think that when I listen to Rage, it reminds me. They don't sound alike. Don't get me wrong, but it reminds me of that. You know what I mean? Like. A lot of my influence came from MC Light and Bahamadia. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't sound like them, but they influenced me a lot. And there's only been one rapper who made me want to go back to the drawing board, and that is Jean Grey.
Yeah, Jean Grey is dope. Jean Grey.
Now, Miz Korona, I'm gonna ask you about something I don't know if he knows, but I would know. Smiley. What did you think about Smiley back in the day?
Smiley, but I'm not friendly. Smiley, she was like, Smiley was dope because she created that anthem for the city, but she was like, how can I put this? It was almost like a nostalgia type of thing. You know what I mean? Like, she wasn't like a mainstay. You kind of saw that she probably wasn't really trying to be a rapper for real. Like, she just felt like she could do it because she hung out with a lot of the guys and they probably pushed her to do it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. Even when I met her later down the line, I didn't feel like she really wanted to be an artist. I feel like she wanted to be more behind the scenes. You know what I mean? Some people have that inner thing within them that's like, I want to be an artist. Like, this is me. This is who I am. Like, and it exudes. But she seemed like she wanted to be more behind the scenes, and maybe like all her guy friends was like doing it. So she was like, oh, I can rap too. Let me show y'all. Boom. And she created a song, and it was like, this is actually dope. That's just my interpretation, but I could be wrong. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I hope she don't get mad if she hear this.
No, Smiley was dope. That song was like ahead of its time. I mean, I remember, and I'm not going to date myself, but I remember when it debuted on the New Dance Show, and it was that whole era. Detroit Most Wanted, Awesome Dre, Chaos and Maestro, AWOL, all of that whole time period. B-Def, Exchange, all of those artists from that time period.
Exchange, that was dope.
MC Brains.
Yeah, they don't really get. See, there's a documentary,
now y'all trying to make me show my age.
and I'm shocked he didn't bring it up. But there's a documentary that's floating out here on Netflix that he loves, and he talks about this particular segment when they came to Detroit, and they was. I don't know if you go ahead, Trav. What was the name of the documentary again?
What are you talking about?
The documentary that you were saying, they were showing hip hop.
Hip Hop Evolution. Did you see the Hip Hop Evolution on Netflix? Did you see it?
I did not.
Oh, you gotta see it.
I saw a clip. DJ Lowe, my brother DJ Lowe showed me a clip. Is that the one where they was talking about when Royce was on there?
They do a whole segment on Detroit. They do a whole episode on Detroit. And it does the beginning. Basically what they do, they go into all the major markets. Like they start out in New York and they show you the birth of hip hop in New York. Then they come to Detroit and they show you the birth of hip hop in Detroit. And they go back. It was some coffee shop in Detroit. I don't know the name of it, but it was some coffee shop.
Cafe Mahogany.
Yeah, that might've been it. Where everybody, first it was like a spoken word place, and then they started rapping. Yeah, and so they started there, and then a lot of it was Eminem. They were showing Eminem in the underground. They showed him going over to like New Jersey battling. They showed him going out to a open mic in L.A. And he got second place over there, and they spent probably about 20 minutes on Eminem, and then Royce. And then it was just some people, some other people I wasn't familiar with in the Detroit area, but it's a good look. It's a good look if you get a chance to check it out. It's probably like 8.
I'm gonna have to watch it because
it's 8 episodes. It's 8 episodes, so you're gonna have to binge it if you want to see it all.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to watch it because one thing about it, I remember actually Netflix had reached out to me about being a part of something. That probably was what it was.
It probably was.
Some people be hating on some real shit. Let's just be honest. People be hating whenever my name come up in a lot of things and whatever the case may be. But
not here, not on the Big Trav and Q Show. We got nothing but love for you. We got nothing but love. Talking with you, going back in the days and talking hip hop with you, we could do this forever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the industry. Listen, let me tell you, the industry they only. It's almost a thing where the buck stops at these 3-4 rappers in Detroit. You know what I mean? But it's a whole history. You got, from Chaos and Maestro to DJ Los and Easy B and, all these people who really paved the way, like DJ Los. They had the first record. You know what I mean? Like, so when you do a Detroit hip hop evolution, when they don't tell those stories, I lose interest. Because I'm like, these are the people who started it.
They might have. Check it out. They might have. Like I said, it was a lot of names in there that I wasn't familiar with when they was talking about, because it was the evolution in Detroit. I mean, it started, it talked about everybody that, of course they hit on.
I'm going to have to watch it.
They didn't bring up, they did bring up T Grizzly and Sada Baby. They did bring them up. Okay.
They probably didn't talk about Club International, and that was huge back in the 80s.
Check it out, because I was tuned in. 90s. I was tuned in to all 8 episodes, so I can't really say specifically what I remember about Detroit. But it is a good look. You guys got to check it out, because Q didn't see it either.
I mean, anything that focuses a positive light on Detroit is a good look, but sometimes it is, as an artist who has been on the scene for a long time, like, it is a little disheartening when they only mention a handful of people, or they start these stories and create this history, but they don't do the complete research. You know what I mean? Like, and they ain't got to mention me. I don't really care about that. Like, but when you don't mention the folks who started it, like, I know they did one little thing about Dilla and they talked about that. I saw, like I said, Lowe's showed me a clip, but man, Dilla
was a big part of it. He was a big part of that the episode in Detroit.
They're not talking about, Awesome Dre and Chaos and Maestro and DJ Los and Easy B and Smiley and Boss and all. Like, those are the people who really started it. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of the industry, from back in that day, they took awesome. They took Detroit's most wanted style of dress. You know what I'm saying? Like we as a city, we influenced a lot in the industry, and you know, so when you see these stories or these documentaries that come out, I'll be like, okay. Like,
I tell you what, I would love to. I would love to hear what you think about it. I tell you what, when you check it out, the Detroit episode, when you check it out, could you please go to your Instagram and just sum it up what you thought about it? I would love to see that. I would love to see what you thought about that. That'll be dope.
Well, real quickly, I got one question for you. They want to know, what is your thoughts about some of the online battles that's been going on Instagram? And they want to know if you had someone that you was to go up against, anybody in the industry, who would that be?
Well, as far as the battles go live, I think it's really good for the culture, you know, because a lot of them it's just been fun to see them. You know, it's like some of these people, you can tell that they don't really like each other for real. But some.
Did you see Little John and T-Pain? Did you see Little John and T-Pain?
They was having fun.
That was dope. That was the dopest one to me.
Anytime a person calls you by your real name,
I know.
It's like you really got to be friends with this person.
And
like,
the best part is he never corrected him. He never corrected him. He let him roll with it.
That's just, you could tell that that's good sportsmanship. They're friends.
That was
you
dope.
know, it's all fun. But some of those battles, it was like a lot of ego was involved, and I saw it, and I was like, you know, it kind of made me turn it off because right now it's like we in a weird space in the world. It ain't even really no time for that. You know what I'm saying? But like the music is great. I would have much rather listened to all the commentary in the middle, but I guess that's a part of it too, because it's like coming from the battle scene as an MC, but it's weird when you see like R&B cats and producers like doing that. You know what I mean? Like,
Are you? Do you consider yourself a battle rapper?
You said what happened? I'm sorry.
I said, do you consider yourself a battle rapper?
I don't, because I don't do it any longer.
Okay.
I definitely still. That's like almost trying to turn a lion into a house cat. You know what I mean? At some point, it might that instinct is still in there, so it might come back out. You know, but I'm like, hey, I'm old. Leave that to the young cats. The last battle that I did was on the big screen. It was on the little screen.
Right.
Billions of people across the world have seen that, so I really don't see a point in me coming out of retirement to do it again. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. I've had people try to call me out and want me to battle, and I'm like, one, they don't even pay the women the amount of money that they give that they do to guys, so that's pointless. And then two, it's like, who are you? You know what I mean? Like, and people probably be wondering who I am.
So if a young lady rolled up on you at the lunch truck tomorrow and lit into you.
Lunch truck, Trav.
Lunch truck.
Right.
they still got lunch trucks. They still got a lunch truck. So
if she roll up on a lunch truck on me if during the shelter and stay, then that means she got it. She can have it. She really needs it.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, it was great. Can you tell I love having you on this show? Can you tell? I was excited. I'm glad you was on the show.
I love being on here, and I appreciate y'all having me. And thank you.
Well, before you go,
Vaughn on here. What's up, Vaughn?
What's up, Vaughn?
Before you go, please give us, let people know where they can get a hold of you. They want to listen to your music, or, you know, get a hold of you, your Facebook pages or anything like that.
So, you can find me everywhere under Miz Korona, MIZKORONA. So that's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter,
Bandcamp.
Bandcamp.com. You go on iTunes or Apple Music, look up Miz Korona, Spotify, Tidal, all of the streaming networks and platforms. Also, I don't know if they can add me on here because I probably am at my limit of having friends, but y'all can follow me on Instagram and follow my photography page, Trigger Finger Visuals. It's spelled just like it sounds, Trigger Finger Visuals. And I appreciate y'all having me on here. And y'all can follow I got a band too called The Korona Effect.
Yeah, I've seen that at PJ's. Yeah, seen you guys performed at PJ's. Yep, I seen that.
We performed all over the place. PJ's, MoCat, Berlin. You know.
I tell you what. One more thing. Any music videos for the EP? Any music videos coming for the EP?
As soon as we get this shelter in place lifted, I do have some visuals in the works to be filmed and shot. Okay. Like I said, I do visual work myself, so I just gotta find a creative way to do a video for this the song Quarantine. I feel like that's the one that I probably will shoot for myself because I mean it's called Quarantine.
Right. In
the house by myself.
Good marketing.
So
Good marketing.
I'm just trying to figure out more creative ways to shoot these shots, and hopefully my homeboy Carl will help me with the editing. So we'll see, but that's the plan. The plan is to get some visuals done, and so the project can gain new legs once this is all over and we good to go, and everybody has a good bill of health. And you know, I want people to stay safe, stay healthy. You know what I mean? Continue to practice social distancing.
Stay your butt at home. Everybody stay at home. Everybody stay at home. Right. Hey, Q.
Before you go, I got a fan on here who wants me to ask you this question. They're asking, with Joe Budden and with Cassidy get into these rap battles and them having success in the entertainment and coming back to the square roots of battling, alluding to what you were saying earlier, do you think that hurt or has helped their careers? Because some people are divided on that. What is your thoughts on that?
Well, it probably helped Cassidy because he's been gone the longest. Joe Budden has been doing a lot of things, you know, whether it be his platforms of doing the TV blogs or the shows that he's been on and everything. But it probably helped Cassidy more than it hurt. I don't know if it hurt Joe Budden at all. He's like a troll anyway, so he don't really care. You know what I mean? He don't really care about whether or not it hurts or helps him, because I think even in times of things that may considerably look like he's hurt, he still bounces back. He's like the king of bounce back. So I don't think it is gonna hurt him. It's probably help both of them, honestly, because it's a sport that even people like myself who I don't battle actively, but I still kind of got that in me. I was thrown in the pit, so I can only imagine that people who actually came up and got famous from battling like Cassidy, how they feel. Like, it's just in his nature. He likes to start shit anyway, because he feel like he got overlooked and then get his just due.
Hey Q. I was wondering. I actually purchased Miz Korona's EP. I was wondering if you done the same thing.
Thank you.
I was wondering if you supported her and done the same thing, because I supported her already. I was wondering if you done it.
I sure did.
Oh, you did? Oh, good boy.
Oh,
good boy.
Shoot.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Well, hey, Miz Korona, it was a joy to have you on the show. You a dope MC, and you've been blessed and done just so many things. And I wish you good things in the future.
Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for coming on the show. Don't be a stranger.
I won't. And thank you for everybody that tuned in and watched from my page and on their page as well.
Yeah, because I'm sorry, because I got a lot of questions. I was just trying to comb through them. So I apologize if I didn't get all your questions on here, but we'll try to get you back on here in the near future, and we can probably get some of those questions answered for you. But most of them was really 8 Mile related, so I just kind of wanted to give you some diverse questions and things of that.
I appreciate that. Yeah, y'all can have me on here anytime. Just let me know in advance, and we'll make it happen.
Okay,
and
sounds.
I appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you too. Thanks, Miz Korona.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Talk to you later. You know what? Hey man, that was a dope interview, man. That was dope, man.
That was Trav. When I say the questions were coming in, oh my God.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Coming in.
She
really
been on the circuit. She been on the circuit. Like I said, I really researched her, and she's been doing interviews. I mean, I think this is her third one for the new EP. So so yeah, I found as much stuff as I could, and I was prepared. So it was stuff that I wanted to know too, because that was just, her verse in the movie was dope. But then when I went to band camp,
that's iconic.
I know.
I know she gave us a good answer, but she's gonna. That's just a staple. That's always gonna. Because think about it, man. In 2022, it's gonna be 20 years.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So, that's a standard test of time. So shout out to Miz Korona and Ro Daniels, for everybody, Slum Village, Monica Blair. I can go on and on and on for the whole Detroit family. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Also,
what a way to end the weekend.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna have me a cigar tonight. I'm gonna drink me some Hennessy tonight. Also, shout out to our other guest, Tyson West Coast. Like I said earlier, Tyson West Coast, he's a big.
I think you deliberately kept me on hold because I had a couple of questions for him.
No, you accidentally hung yourself up, didn't you? And then you do. No, that was the second time.
Hold.
That was the second time. I forgot to click you in. I'm sorry. I forgot to click you in. I'm sorry.
Right. Before we go, Trav, let's let people know. Please go check out our YouTube page. Click on the subscribe button and let people know. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know how you enjoyed the interview today. You can always catch us on all social media outlets like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, the Big Trav and Q Show. Come check us out. And that's it for me.
And for me, and don't forget, next week we have entertainment attorney Stephanie L. Hammonds. Did you have a day on next week? I just put next week, so I didn't have a day. You got a day next week?
Yes, she's Thursday.
Thursday, okay. Thursday. So
but I guess what? I got a surprise for you.
Okay.
We are going to have an interview for the ages coming next Friday.
Okay.
All the way, and I have to do this from the West Coast. We coming West Coast,
okay.
baby.
That's what we do. We're
going to do it big, man. So stay tuned. We'll reveal that soon. We're doing a West Coast. Yes, Trav, and I got a lot of questions for that, especially with how you be feeling about some West Coast artists.
If it's who I think it is, I'm already excited. Hey. Hey, you guys have a great weekend, and we see you on Monday.
Congratulations.
We're out.
You played yourself.
Congratulations.
It's the Big Trav and Q Show. They waiting for just another damn podcast. Now let's go. Go.
It's the Big Trav and Q Show. So what you gonna do, bro? Q is from D-Town. We chillin' in the Momo. Travis from the mud. We call it Glass City. Swoop some red bones, and they was acting shifty. It's the Big Ballin' Podcast. All the others hot trash. 6 o'clock on the dot. Better make a quick dash. All the hot topics getting played in the tropics. We picking up steam. Yo, Q, they can't stop it. Let's go.